Hi and welcome to MTG Manuscript. Today we'll be looking at how to build a silk deck, and this is all the cards that we've gotten from our last M12 opening. So we'll be doing a silk series with M12. So another recap that on the rares that we've gotten from the opening, we have our Primordial Hydra, our Call to the Grave, Royal Assassin, Gideon's Avenger, Phantasmal Image, and our Redirect. So what I'll do now is I'll separate all these into the colors and we'll see what we have, and let's see how we can form a silk deck from here. Hi, so this is what we have gotten after sorting out all the cards into their respective colors. So in a silk event, that is what you would want to do from the start. And after sorting them to colors, actually what you need to do is you need to sort them into creatures and spells. But I'll do that later. So let's just go through each of the colors to see what we have and what we can roughly do. So for the blue, we have Redirect. Basically, it is like a counter spell. We have our Phantasmal Image, our Phantasmal Dragon. So these two actually, yep, these two are really good. We have our Turn to Frog, basically sort of a removal, which is very good as well. We have our 5/5 Island Walk, but these can't attack unless there are 5 or more islands on the battlefield. We have our Ice Cage, Enchant Creature. Enchant Creature can't attack or block, and its abilities can't be activated. When enchanted creatures become target of a spell, destroy Ice Cage. So this is like a slightly lousier version of pacifism. We have Negate, counter target non-creature spell. We have our Merfolk Mesmerist. 1 blue and tap, target player puts top two cards of his library into her graveyard. Alright. We have Divination with our Unsummon. Chasm Drake, our 3/3 flying. Whenever it attacks, target creature you control gains flying. We have our Cancel. We have another Chasm Drake. We have our Phantasmal Bear, our 2/2 bear for 1 mana. We have our Flight. Merfolk Looter. This draw a card and discard a card. And we have our Negate, our foil. So blue is looking pretty good here with a few pretty good creatures and a lot of control spells. And next we have looking at our green, our Primordial Hydra, which is definitely a bomb. Our Autumn's Veil. Our Overrun, which is quite good, but it's quite hard to play this card unless you are playing like mono green because it's unsplashable. We have our Garruk's Companion, our 3/2 trample. Our Fog. Titanic Growth. Target creature get +4/+4. We have our Rampant Growth for land, for mana search. We have our Lurking Crocodile, our 2/2 for Bloodthirst and Island Walk. Pretty good creature. We have our Greater Basilisk, our 3/5 Death Touch, our Naturalize, our Stampeding Rhino, 4/4 trample. Bountiful Harvest, our Sacred Wolf, 3/1 hexproof, another Naturalize, and our Giant Spider. Well, green is not looking too bad as well, so green is another possibility. So meaning we'll be looking at bombs, removal spells, and also creatures with evasion. But of course, if we see possible combinations or team that we can form, it'll be even better. So our black cards here, we have our Royal Assassin, tap to destroy target tapped creature. We have our Call to the Grave, basically a control deck for zombie decks. We have our Death Mark, destroy target green or white creature. Pretty good for a sideboard, I would say. We have our Reassembling Skeleton. We have our Zombie Infestation. another Death Mark. Let's just put them together. We have our Diabolic Tutor. Hideous Visage. Creatures you control gains Intimidate. We have our Grave Digger. When this enters the battlefield, you may return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. We have our Mind Rod. Our Blood Seeker 1/1. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, you may have that player lose 1 life. We have our Taste of Blood. It deals 1 damage to target player and you gain 1 life. We have Child of the Night, our 2/1 lifelink. Another Grave Digger. We have our Blood Rage Vampire with our 3/1 and Bloodthirst 1. We have another Blood Seeker. Our Dusk Hunter Bat. Our 1/1 flying with Bloodthirst 1. We have our Ring Flash. Target creature gets -3/-1 until end of turn. We have our Distress. Target player reveals his or her hand, you choose a non-land card from it and that player discards that card. And we have our Doomblade. Ooh. Yep, so that's our black. It's not bad either. So our blue, we have our Gideon's Avenger. Whenever a creature opponent's control becomes tapped, put a +1/+1 on this creature, which is really good. With our Spirit Mantle, enchant creature gets +1/+1 and has protection from creatures. Oh my god. We have 2 Serra Angel, our 4/4 flying vigilance. We have our Oblivion Ring, basically is a exile a non-land permanent, which is our removal. We have our Staff Off. Target creature gains protection from color of your choice until end of turn. We have our Griffin Sentinel, our 1/3 flying vigilance. Our Griffin Rider. As long as you control a Griffin creature, Griffin Rider gets +3/+3 and has flying. We have our Auramancer. Return when this comes in the battlefield, returns target enchantment from your graveyard to your hand. We have our Gideon's Lawkeeper, 1 mana for 1/1 and pay 1 white tap to tap target creature. We have another Auramancer. We have our Pacifism, another Staff Off, another Lawkeeper. Our Guardian's Pledge. White creatures you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. We have our Stormfront Pegasus, our 2/1 flying. Another Griffin Sentinel. And an Armored Warhorse, our 2/3 creature for 2 white mana. So white is pretty good, so I think this Silk 6-pack has lots of options and answers. So going on to our red, we have our Circle of Flame. Whenever a creature without flying attacks you or a planeswalker you control, this deals 1 damage to that creature. We have our Goblin Tunneler. Tap target creature with power 2 or less is unblockable this turn. We have our Shock. Our Chandra's Outrage deals 4 damage to a target creature and 2 damage to that creature's controller. Have another Tunneler. Our Goblin Arsonist. When it dies, you may have it deal 1 damage to target creature or player. We have our Wall of Torches, our 4/1 defender. We have our Goblin Warpaint, our enchant creature. Gets +2/+2 and has haste. We have our Fling. As an additional cost to cast Fling, sacrifice a creature. Deals damage equal to the sacrifice creature's power to target creature or player. And moving on to our colorless stuff, we have our Worm's Tooth. Whenever a creature casts a green spell, you may gain 1 life. Our Crumbling Colossus, our 7/4 for Trample, and when it attacks, sacrifice it at the end of combat. We have our Kraken's Eye. Whenever you cast a blue spell, you may gain 1 life. And we have our land, which is pay 2 generic, sacrifice Buried Ruin, return target artifact from your graveyard to your hand. So this is all our cards, and we'll see what we can form with it, and I'll see you again after this. Hi and welcome back. So basically this is what I will usually do in a sealed event. I'll separate them all into their own colors, and basically the first row here, yep, there is a first row, but unfortunately my camera is unable to see them. Yep, so there'll be 4 rows. The first row will be the the bombs. I will call them like, yep, they are basically your bombs that can win your game with. And the second one is your creatures, your better creatures for the color. The third one will be your useful spells, and the fourth row will be the last of everything that you will be adding to your suit deck. Yep. So let's just go through the bombs. So for our blue cards, we have our Phantasmal Dragon and our Phantasmal Image, which is really good. So this one you could just copy Phantasmal Dragon, but of course when it becomes a target or spell, sacrifice this card. So I might use this on an opponent's creature or something like that. And for the useful creatures here, we have our 3/3 flying. Whenever it attacks, your creature control gains flying. Yep, so it's pretty good and can help with your evasion. We have our Phantasmal Bear as well. Our 1 blue for 2/2, which is really awesome. And the spells that comes with it is quite good as well. So we have a bit of a control going on here. So first up we have Flight, which is always awesome. We have our Negate to counter target non-creature spell. We have our Cancel, Unsummon, Ice Cage, which is basically something like pacifism, Redirect, and Turn to Frog. Let's go on to our green. Of course, we have our awesome Primordial Hydra. Yep, so that's a really good card. We have our Garrot's Companion, our 2 mana for a 3/2. We have our Lurking Crocodile, our Greater Bacillus. Our Death Touch is really irritating. We have our Sacred Wolf, 3/1 Hexproof. We have our Stampeding Rhino, 4/4 Trample, and our Giant Spider with 2/4 Reach. And for the useful spells, we have our Titanic Growth, our Overrun, and our Rampant Growth. For black, we do have our Royal Assassin, our Call to the Grave. I'm really between on the line whether this should be a bomb card or not, because it really doesn't win you the game. Yep. So we have Call to the Grave and our Royal Assassin. The creatures that are useful are Reassembling Skeleton, our Dust Hunter Bat, which is a flying creature, our Blood-Rich Vampire, and our Child of the Night. The spells that we have are Distress, basically discarding your opponent's hand. Ring Flash, -3/-1, target creature. Our Mind Rod. Having Mind Rod in a sealed event is really good because having to discard 2 cards in a limited format is really suck. We have our awesome Doomblade. We have 2 Death Mark, which is really situational, depending on our opponent whether they are playing white or green. So really, could be quite a good sideboarder. We have our Diabolic Tutor and our Hideous Visage. Yep. And our white, we have our Gideon's Avenger, which is a really good card. Whenever creature and opponent becomes tapped, put a +1/+1 counter to this guy. We have our Spirit Mantle, if this goes onto this, which is super awesome. Yep. We have, for our useful creatures, we have our 2 Serra Angel, our Stormfront Pegasus, Armored Warhorse, our 2 Griffin Sentinel, and our Griffin Rider. And for our useful spells, we have our Pacifism, our Oblivion Ring, Staff Off, and Guardian's Pledge. And for our raid, there really isn't much. We only have a Wall of Torches and 2 of our direct damage spells, Shock and Chandra's Outrage. And for our colorless, the only thing that is quite good would be maybe the Crumbling Colossus. Yep, so looking at all these cards and separating them into this format, you will have a better understanding of what decks that you will be able to form to give you advantage. And looking at all this, the more obvious answer would be green, blue, and maybe white. Black has a couple of very good stuff as well, like Doom Blades, Death Mark, and even Royal Assassin. Yep, so let's see what we can. Hi and welcome back. So this is the deck that I formed out of the sealed packs that we have opened, and basically I've gone from a blue, green, and with a splash of white. So let's see what cards have I chosen for our pack. So firstly, our Primordial Hydra, and obviously this card could like single-handedly win us the game. We have our Garrot's Companion, 2 mana for a 3/2 creature with Trample. It's a very fast creature to be cast. We have our Lurking Crocodile, Sacred Wolf, Hexproof, so we'll be there. Next we have our Giant Spider, 2/4 with Reach, our Stampeding Rhino, our 4/4 Trample, and our Greater Basilisk, our 3/5 Death Touch. So that's for our green. And for our blue cards, we have our Phantasmal Bear, our Merfolk Looter, basically for the card draw, our Phantasmal Dragon, our 5/5 Flying, and of course our 3/3 Drake. Whenever it attacks target creature you control gains flying, which probably means our Hydra will be flying over, and so adding a evasion attribute to all our cards if we have our Drake on the battlefield. So our sorcery cards for the deck will be all in blue primarily. So we have our Phantasmal Image to copy our Hydra. We have our Turn to Frog, so basically it's just like a removal. Our Redirect to counter any removal spells. We have our Unsummon and Cancel to counter creatures or to cancel a target spell. We have our Ice Cage to act as like a pacifism. We have our Flight to give our Hydra flying, and we have our Divination to do some card drawing. And for our splash in white, we have our Oblivion Ring to deal with like any planeswalker or anything that we cannot get rid of through the usual methods, so we can just exile it. We have our Spirit Mantle to give our Hydra +1/+1 or any other stuff +1/+1 and has protection from creatures, which is really awesome. And of course we have our Pacifism. Yep, so this is what we formed from the 6 packs. Do let us know if you have a better idea or a better way of forming the cards from the 6 packs that we had. And yep, just let us and leave a comment below for us. So that's it for our episode of our very first sealed deck series. Do hit like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.